All right, we should be live any second now. And there we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris, and this is Barn on 11970, and I hope you will enjoy what I have to say. Thank you for taking the time to want to check it out. It is 6:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 8th of January, 2017, and this is a topic I was hoping to avoid, but it seems like a lot of people are talking about this, and I think the message has really got to get out there before it is too late and we go in a direction we really don't want to go. So I want to welcome everybody, whether you're watching this live or watching it days, weeks, months later. I hope you will listen with an open mind because this is something I've been predicting for a long time. And there's a thing out there, if you're not familiar with it. I mean, if you're subscribed to my channel already and listen to my videos, you probably know this back and forth at this point. But I get a lot of new people, and I'm very glad to always see new people joining because it shows that people are really starting to get tired of mainstream media and the corruption and wanting an alternative viewpoint, maybe get some extra different type of common sense into our minds, and that is always a good sign. So if this is the first time you've seen something like this, please check out my other videos, listen to this, and we value your opinion, so I hope you'll leave a comment about this. And as you can see, if you're not familiar with this, basically a couple of days ago, about a week ago, there were these four African American people who are all of the age of 18. Um, I can't say kidnapped because they had a friend who was white who was hanging out with one of them for a couple of days, supposedly was unaware that the van they took was stolen, and ultimately they end up doing a live broadcast where they basically screamed numerous racial slurs, not only about the fact that the guy was white, but also supposedly associating with Trump supporters. And they basically beat this person on a live camera. Now, I remember when I saw that live, I didn't watch it because I wasn't going to put my energy into something like that. I think it's disgusting, first of all, that they allowed it to happen. Now, there's going to be hatred in this world. Unfortunately, with this divide and conquer world where the governments are there to distract us. They want us hating each other. As you could see with the shooting in Orlando or down in Florida and all these other events going on, they're trying to get us to hate each other for the color of our skin. And it's, as you could see, it's working, which is very disappointing. And how can you tell that they're doing this? I mean, look at what the media is doing. Now, I want to play devil's advocate. Just imagine if there was a live broadcast where four white individuals taped a a black man and said F Obama and F black people and proceeded to beat that person on camera. What do you think would happen in the media? What do you think Obama would do the first second he heard about it? But yet this time, because it's the opposite way, the media is trying to portray it as, well, they targeted that person because he was special needs. Even though if you watch the live video or see any clips on the video provided by this corrupt stream media, as I like to call them, not once did they say anything about his disability, his quote unquote special needs. They attack the white gender and they constantly go towards Trump. And unfortunately, it looks like the police are very afraid of this. They're afraid to touch it and say what it is. And they're saying, oh, well, these are 18-year-old kids who just made an error in judgment. And CNN, the criminal news network, who should be ashamed of themselves and how they are still in existence is beyond me, they have people saying, well, it's just bad parenting. And what is this geared to do? This is geared towards now you're going to see a bunch of white fanatic people who are now going to be so pissed off about this that they're going to do some kind of retaliation at some point. And this is what divide and conquer is all about. This is all about getting us to hate each other instead of us focusing on the fact that our governments throughout the world are bankrupt. They're stealing your what they call money. Countries can't afford to basically have their people survive anymore unless you're extremely wealthy. The banks are going under. They've been caught with all this corruption. So why would they want you to focus on them? They need these distractions. Now, I can't say whether this was some bunch of crisis actors or not, because to me at this point, whether these are lower than low scum who get paid to make a fake thing up, or a bunch of people that really believe what they were spewing, is bad enough. What is worse is the media is either taking advantage of a situation or continuing to put out just another play for us to get intertwined with and create emotion. Now, emotions like love and caring and friendship and support and protection, things like that are wonderful emotions, but you never see those on the media. You never hear that from your politicians and your corporations and your educational systems. They don't want you loving one another. What do they talk about all the time? Fear and anger and poverty and hatred and division, separation, not unity. The agenda should be clear to the most close-minded person at this point. And what is so sad to me is that the majority of the people either just don't care or they are just that oblivious. So to me, whether this was staged or not is irrelevant, because I don't care. If there are people pathetic enough that they would stage an event for any amount of money, shows what lack of morals and lack of principle and lack of integrity they have, and hopefully they will one day reap what they sow. But let's just assume this was an actual event by normal people. The fact that people are allowing the media to make them think this is no big deal shows the hypocrisy of what they are trying to do. They want blacks to hate whites and whites to hate blacks. And it's working. For the ignorant, for the naive, for the people who live their lives purely on emotion instead of thinking logically. If you want to hate somebody, how about hate somebody that's evil? How about hate somebody that's been hurting us? The media is a dinosaur waiting to die, and for some reason, people keep feeding it, thinking that it will eventually do good or correct the errors of its ways. The mainstream media needs to die. This corrupt government system throughout the world needs to die. And when I mean die, I don't mean murder and death and things. I mean fade away into oblivion on its own demise. Why we keep pumping this system when it is clearly not beneficial to the masses, and allowing the media to portray things like this to the point where it gets most people angry, because that's what this is doing. This is dividing the people. This is dividing the white community with the black community. Why do you think they are trying so hard on the left side to say that if you voted for Trump, you are white racist pigs? And it's just sad. And the sad part is not the people who make these assumptions. It's the fact that we buy into it. The fact that we believe into it. The fact that maybe we just don't care enough to even bother picking a side. And seeing that it's not the side of the black and the white. That's the side of the right and the wrong. We're picking the wrong sides. I don't understand the hatred that people have. And if people get paid to do things like this, they are the most disgusting forms of scum on the planet. Because let me tell you something, I struggle every day, but I make enough and I earn enough to survive. I don't need credit cards. I'm not on debt. I refuse to buy. If I don't have the fiat currency to purchase something, I do not acquire it. Or I save up for it. I don't put myself in debt by saying, oh, here's a credit card with $10,000 worth of debt. I only make about $5,000 worth. Let me use that credit card to pay the other $5,000 to get all these trinkets. No, it's us being careful. It's being responsible. And the average person has the mentality of, well, it's not a problem yet. I'll worry about it tomorrow. And the problem is tomorrow eventually comes. And that's why things like this are going to keep occurring. I've been saying this for years. If we continue to ignore what's really going on, these things are going to continue to happen. And the problem is, even if it is fake and it was 100% staged, what is it going to do to the people who watch it, who believe in it, who believe in the lie, and they go and hurt someone else? How many people base their lives on their heroes, their quote unquote heroes, their role models, who do things because they saw it on the television? That's why, to me, at this point, it's irrelevant whether things like this are staged or 100% real. It's the fact that there are going to be people who will respond to this in a negative way. And somebody is going to be walking down the street, minding their own business, and because of the color of their skin or their sexual preference or just whatever, somebody is going to hurt someone because they saw it on TV or something they heard in the news made them angry. So shame on the media for making this into something it's not. But shame on the people who choose to constantly ignore this. That's why channels like mine are never going to be popular. It's the fact that people that come here for the right reasons, they actually care. They actually see above and beyond. But we are not the masses. We are the minority. And the thing is, I have women that come here. I have men that come here. I have people that are gay and straight, black and white, all around the world. And I've never had a problem with a person other than the fact that they are rude or nasty or cruel or some idiot troll. I don't care if they're black, white, Chinese, gay, straight, atheist, whatever. To me, the value of a person is what they bring to the table. Who they are as a human being. Do they care enough about others? And things like this, like they say, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So, again, whether this event was purely 100% fake and staged or was 100% legitimate, we have a situation where there were 4 black individuals who tied up and tortured a white individual by themselves, and the media tried to portray it as it was just an error in judgment. When the hypocrisy is, if it was the other way around, and there were 4 white people that did this, there would be outrage. The president would stop his golf games and actually go on TV and show that he cared. He wouldn't say, oh, it was just 4 white young people making an error in judgment, probably poor parenting. But what that does is it gets the people angry. It gets now a bunch of white people that are now going to want to retaliate. So again, whether it was staged or not, if somebody saw that and is outraged by the way the media is talking, and they decide, well, you know what? I'm going to go do something. I'm going to make a video like that. How many times have I warned people that eventually somebody's going to do something stupid enough to the point where they're going to control the internet, where the government's going to come in and say, hey, we need to regulate this because obviously the people cannot regulate it themselves. So we are either going to make it extremely difficult by making such large fees that only the wealthy can afford to be on the internet, or we're just going to shut it down completely. People don't see the writing on the wall, and it's so disappointing. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't made as many videos as I normally do. It's because I'm basically talking to thin air. Now, obviously, there are people here who come here for the right reasons, and I see it in the posts that you people make, and I welcome each and every one of you. But if we do not wake the masses up, if we do not put in the effort, if my message just gets heard here and it goes no further, then it really serves no purpose. Because I really don't do this just to hear myself talk. I do it because maybe I do want to change the world for the better. But I can't do it myself, obviously. I mean, I get people still to this day telling me all the time, they try and watch my videos, they don't work. They don't get notifications right away. They get unsubscribed all the time. To the point where it just doesn't surprise me anymore. But that's what they want to do. And all that does is tells me I must be on the right track, because why would they put such effort into making it almost virtually impossible to see my videos or even thumb them up? Because people tell me repeatedly that they thumb up the video only for it to not register and they get unsubscribed all the time. Why would they do that if I was totally off base? They don't want free thinkers. They don't want people that will rock the boat. They want the people that are just angry enough to hurt someone else. That's what this is all about. This is government saying, oh crap, we're bankrupt. We're about to be exposed for the frauds that we are. If the people found out what we've been doing to them all these years, they would hang us up by the nearest tree, regardless of our skin color. We need something for them to be mad at. I know. Racial tensions always work. Let's get them to hate one another so they fight each other. And we'll slip out the back door with their money. That's a great plan. Now, all we have to do is shut up the few that want to say anything, silence the few that want to talk about it, entertain the living crap out of people so they get distracted, give them a bunch of little trinkets here and there, and we could buy their loyalty. Is the little trinkets that people are getting, worth what's coming? I don't understand the integrity. It's sad. In 2016, now 2017, I feel like we're more divided as a world than I've had in my 46 years of life. And the funny part is, when I walk outside, I don't see any of it. I have an old white couple to the left of me and a younger black couple to the right of me as my neighbors. I say hello to both. Neither one have I ever had a problem with. The streets that I live near, it's a poorer neighborhood. It's probably 60% black, 40% white. Not once has there been any street gangs or problems with drugs or fighting or anything. I've never had to worry about, oh, I better board up my car. This is fear that the media portrays. And the sad part is, when something's on the television, there are always going to be people that are going to believe it. And they are going to react to it. And instead of thinking logically, because they're so sugared up and caffeined up and drugged up and drunk and whatever else, that they don't stop and think anymore. They just react. Why do you think one of the biggest channels out there are all about reactions? People seem to not care anymore about anything other than themselves. And when people like me and others make videos to basically say, hello, McFly, wake up, we're hated on or ignored. People are going to get what they deserve. And this, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how you spin it, those four individuals, whether they were paid to do it, which makes them scum, or did it naturally, which makes them scum, that was a hate crime. You know, put perfume on a pile of dog crap, all you have is nicer smelling dog crap. They're trying to put a spin on it, and it's geared to make a few individuals angry to the point where they react. And when you react based on your emotion, it usually tends to never be a good decision. And what is it going to do? It's going to create some kind of harm, some kind of destruction. And who do you think is going to come along? The very people who initiated these kind of situations so they can create more laws to restrict our freedoms even more, and we'll seem to be okay with it because we're now scared to death of one another. You know, people praise so much about this technology, about all the modern cell phones and all these wonderful gadgets and high definition TVs and whatever. All it's doing is separating us. Kids don't go to over each other's houses anymore to play games. They don't go outside anymore. They stay indoors by themselves with a pair of headsets on, and yeah, they can communicate with people around the world, but they never get to meet them. People are afraid to communicate with one another, and it's creating distrust. If we don't reverse this, this is going to turn into something really bad. and it's going to be all of our fault, because as bad as it is that the evil people are doing evil things, what's worse is when good people choose to look the other way or get paid off or use fear as an excuse to say, well, I don't want to do anything wrong. Nothing's happening to me yet. So if we want to have situations like this become more of a norm, keep watching the mainstream media, keep giving them energy. It's amazing. It's disappointing because I see the future. It won't bother me. I've been prepared for every single thing. I don't live in fear. I'm not worried because I can handle any situation. I've had so much thrown at me in my lifetime that I am glad all those bad things happened. Why? Because it allowed me to know that I can handle any situation and still come out okay. And I know a lot of people that watch my videos, they're the same way. They see the difference of how you can create your own universe, and everything happens for a reason. There are always lessons to be learned. Unless you decide to ignore them, they will continue to keep coming at you. So if we want things like this situation to happen, and the police and the media and the governments to all pretend, oh, it's just an error in judgment, just a bunch of kids, not a hate crime, nothing to see here. And then if the role was reversed, all hell breaks loose, that is pure sign of divide and conquer. It's meant to have us hate each other. It only works if you play along with it. So I'm discussing this, as you could see, with no real emotion. I am not yelling and screaming. I'm not saying we need to get back at anybody. Because you can't fight fire with fire unless you like getting burned. So there's ways where you can talk about things and actually grow from it or learn from it. Because as you can hear in my voice, I am talking with logic, with reason, not through emotion. And I've warned people for the longest time, when you use a negative emotion and they use that negative emotion against you, somebody out there is going to be hurt as a direct response of what situation like this has occurred, and the fact that the media is trying to make it like it doesn't mean anything. So a bunch of white people now that are going to be watching these type of mainstream media garbage and what they were saying, somebody's going to retaliate. And all that's going to do is create more laws that restrict us as a human species. Why we all seem to need these government systems throughout the world is beyond me. They don't do anything but keep us down. But if you throw a couple of trinkets, I guess it's okay, where they could literally get away with murder. That's sad. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to hear what I have to say. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments section. All I ask is, you don't have to agree with what I say. You may not even have to like what I say. But if you have a counterpoint, do it in a way that's respectful. Do it in a way that educates us or enlightens us. If all you can do is come up with some name-calling thing because it makes you feel good to say anonymous things on a computer, you really need to reevaluate your life and your future, because you're going nowhere if you have nothing but hatred in your heart. There's a lot of people out there making judgments and criticizing and attacking other people, and they do it in the most cowardly of ways. If you think that's a goal that you would love to teach your children and the value you'd like to instill in the people that surround you, you need to reevaluate yourself as a human being. We're either going to unite and work together and make this into a better world because we fought for it, or we're all just going to be selfish people who ignore everybody else. As long as I get mine, it's okay, and eventually everything will be taken away from everybody and nobody wins. That's up to us. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that there are consequences for everything that we do. So you have three choices. You can do the right thing, you can do the wrong thing, or you can do nothing. But remember, there are always consequences for your actions and inactions. So that's up to you. No more excuses. Change the world, or have the world change for you in a way that you don't like. And if you choose to do that, don't complain that it didn't come out the way you wanted, because did you fight for it in any way, shape, or form to get the world to be a better place? Or did you just make excuses? That's why situations like this hate crime occurred. And it will not be the last. I can guarantee you it won't be the last. Some will be staged and paid for by governments to trick you, and others will be genuine people who have hatred in their heart because of situations like these. Either way, it's going to hurt the innocent people until we decide enough is enough. So until that time, I want to thank everybody for listening to what I have to say. If you want to hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, you are more than welcome to. I value your expressions here, even if they are negative ones, because I can only control what I do, not what you do. If you want to share this and watch it with other people, please do. And stop feeding the beast. Get out of the corrupt system. Stop putting yourself in further debt. Stop using their credit cards. Do the best that you can to be independent. It may mean you have to sacrifice a little bit, but in the long run, you'll be better off. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.